The word for that was claggy.
Claggy, stodgy, bulky,
Flaky,
crispy, crumbly, flaky, crumbly.
Yeah, money's nice. We like money.
The earpiece.
The earpiece wasn't in.
A continuity nightmare.
I thought you were going to say something else there.
You'll
Hi, I'm Laura Rikowski from Radio Times, and I'm in Belfast on the set of Blue Light Series 3.
You know, you see them sort of navigating them together, really, don't you? Through this crazy profession in Series 3. What I enjoy about them is that they both lived a life separately.
Yes.
And their old lives and how that might impact, like, you know, where they are
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And I think it's quite a sort of grown up, realistic, not very Hollywood approach to, a workplace romance. And
I loved the scenes with you in the car, like just the little scenes that they wrote between them.
Yeah.
I really, as an actor, would look forward to doing those because it was very like table tennis, like bing,
yes,
ba, 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 ba.
yes.
And what is it like when you guys come back and get into the uniform and start filming a new series?
It's great. It's brilliant. It's sort of now it feels like an old pair of shoes because, you know the people, you know the company that you're in, the crew. We have the most incredible crew here. They truly are like the backbone of this show.
Oh yeah.
And also a lot of them have been on it since the beginning, which is a testament to, you know, everybody's collaboration, I think.
And even small things like putting on the uniform, you know, like the stab vests and all the stuff that we used to be it used to feel so alien to us. But now, you know, 3 years in, I think it's I think we're not real cops, but we certainly. Wait a minute.
Is this the Truman Show?
This is the Truman Show.
Do you know what? It's so wonderful to see. I will get emotional, but it's so wonderful to see a show that is set here, that's been created by people who have such an immense connection. You know, that grew up here, that know this place, and and also the care that they've taken and the way that they've told the character of Belfast, and then just, you know, people's response to it is so supportive, like you said earlier. Whenever anyone does come up and say about the show, yesterday we were filming in the city centre, and there were people just coming up and they just really so chuffed that, you know, that they brought the Bafta home to Belfast.
I need to get to the gym. That's for one thing. I'm like, fuck, these vests don't get any easier.
They actually have, I think, so the real guys wear these, but they have like a metal plate in the front and back. So we've had the metal plate taken out of ours, but even without the metal plates, like, they're still super heavy. And another thing, the uniform, like, we've been doing Blue Lights for nearly 3 years now, and one thing that doesn't get easier is trying to get in and out of the car and get your seatbelt on. Because you've got these big belts on. I'll just show you here. So you're feeling around like this, like mad, trying to, like, in a rush after you hit the blue lights.
Like the neck just goes.
Get in
but it's like, it doesn't get any easier. No. Yeah. And also running as well, to be fair, because there's so many little things that are happening, and I don't know about. Well, to be fair though, Annie doesn't really run that much. You do a lot more running than me.
We've done a wee bit of running, and you know, if the stuff isn't well strapped in, you'll be running and your baton will fly off, or your ammo will fly off. So you need to make sure everything's well strapped down. Like,
particularly the props, there's just so much to think about. There's so much to think about. And also, I mean, yeah, this thing, for example, like there's been the amount of times that there was a take and you'd be like, oh, Jesus, my
The
earpiece wasn't in.
a continuity nightmare.
I thought you were going to say something else there.
You'll you'll do your perfect take, you know, and you'll be like, oh, I'm so happy with that take. And then our continuity script advisor, Jack, will be like, guys, sorry, your earpiece wasn't in. You're gonna have to do it again. And we're like, oh.
Yeah, you hate to see him coming because he does this thing where it's like scratches the head and then he walks up and he's like, nah. But yeah, I mean, the earpieces or something else. You look more like a cop than me, to be fair, I think.
I'd say you look quite like a cop too right now, yeah.
I remember there was a scene, me and Frank, who plays Shane, we were doing a scene close to the city centre in Belfast a couple of weeks ago, and we were just in the car chilling and we were doing another take, and then all of a sudden like the back door opened up and I heard, "Give us a ride," and it was like these two drunk guys that were almost in the police car thinking it was like an actual...
Weren't they like trying, but didn't you say, or somebody said that they were like trying to let on that they were hijacking the car or something? Didn't they say?
It was something like,
hijacking or
"Give us a ride, this is a hijack," or something like that anyway. And then, I mean, I burst out laughing. I thought it was friggin' brilliant. But Mairead, like our AD, was like, get out. But yeah, it's mental. Especially in the city centre, it's always going to be a bit chaotic.
The set, in my opinion, is actually one of the more easier things to navigate, like as an actor, because, you know, as you say, like everything's right here, you know, like we're sitting in Helen's office right now and this remains Helen's office. So we know that if we're in the kitchen at the end of the hallway and we have a line about Helen's office, we can sort of visualize that as being, you know, 2 doors down the corridor. Or, you know, if we talk about where the police cars are parked, we know that they're parked literally just outside that window there. So I think the set, you're right, the set is amazing and it makes our job so much easier because there's no having to imagine anything. It's, you know, basically like a real police station.
It's a kind of a blinding, overwhelming moment when they read out the name of your show, because you prepare yourself for it not to be you. I do quite a lot of psychological preparation for that because I've been in that situation many times with this show and with other things where, you know, the chances are you're not going to win. So you prepare yourself for that, and you get ready for that mild, you know, kind of disappointment. But then when it happens, it's very surreal, yeah, and overwhelming. And the walk down to the stage and up onto the stage, and even when you're speaking, it seems like it's somebody else doing it. I had to watch back, actually, the speech I gave at the end, because I'd completely forgotten what I'd said. And I had to watch it back and say, oh, no, what did I talk about there? It's real. So series 3 is another change up. One of the things that's really important to myself and Adam as the writers of the show is that every season should feel significantly different from the one before. So season 1 takes place in a Republican community in West Belfast. Season 2 kind of jumps the fence to a loyalist community in East Belfast. And season 3 is in the leafy, salubrious suburbs of South Belfast, where I live. So I'm talking about my neighbours this season. And that came about because of a conversation I had with a senior police officer about how insidious and consequential white-collar crime is. The professional apparatus around organised crime, the lawyers who are complicit in it, the accountants who facilitate it. And as soon as that officer said that, I was really fascinated, because crime doesn't have any class boundaries, and if anything, the kind of crime that you know, professional people are involved in facilitating is even more serious and problematic. So we took a decision very early on that that was a part of Belfast that we wanted to show. I think when people think of the city from outside, they think of troubled working class communities that are still divided by sectarianism, and that's true, that exists, and we have shown that. But there's a whole other side to the city now, a kind of economically vibrant side, a lot of wealthy people, and a small minority of those people are up to no good. So that's the kind of milieu and locale of it. But there are various storylines in this series that I am very attached to, and I actually think they're amongst the most important storylines we've ever done. So we have a character called Lindsay Singleton, who's a young 17-year-old woman in care who's being exploited by criminal gangs. Of course, that happens all over the UK and Ireland, all over Europe probably. But that storyline seems to me to be very important because it's the most vulnerable people in society who are exploited in every way, including sexually, by criminal gangs. So I'm proud that we're featuring that. And also, Adam and I did, I would say, 25, maybe 26 interviews with police officers for this series. And the thing that really punched through this time was the amount of undiagnosed and hidden trauma in the police. There's just so much of it. We have a small writing office, and officers would come in there to tell us about their experiences, and very frequently they would end up crying, and we felt a bit like imposters, like we were unqualified therapists, and many of them had never taken any therapy or counselling. They just got on with it. So that really punched through for us this season. So we have a really important storyline with the character Aisling, played by Dervla McKinney, who goes to a car accident and is deeply traumatized, but it doesn't affect her in the obvious ways. So I spent a lot of time dealing with officers who had gone through trauma once we started this storyline, and they told me the ways in which it manifested itself. And it's just not what you think. You take more risks, and some of them became more religious, spiritual. So all of these strange and unexpected outworkings of trauma. So we featured that in this season. We also continue to feature the threat to police officers from a Catholic and nationalist background. We really delve it. We touched on that in season 1 with Annie's story, but we really open it up here again with Annie. And then in terms of Grace, Shan's character, we learn so much more about her background as a child growing up and before she was a social worker that begins to explain why she is the way she is. So that came about actually from a conversation I had with Shan about 2.5 years ago before we shot season 1, when we were working out who Grace was, so she knew in her head how to play her. And we came up with a massive, over a 4-hour conversation, we came up with a really meticulous backstory for Grace. And in this season, we start to unpack it and reveal a lot of truths about her background. Won't these storylines work in television? But I think sometimes they can be overexploited by writers. I feel that sometimes the won't they thing is it's an approach to keep an audience interested, but you're stringing the audience along a little bit, and at some point they deserve to see that kiss or that those people tell each other they love each other. And I had a really strong feeling in the making of season 2 that this was when people deserted. We owed this to the audience, and it doesn't. So the fear that many people might have is, oh, but then it's done. What happens then? And in season 3, what we've done is written a version of a grown-up relationship between two mature adults who both have baggage and have history, and what we're trying to do is show, okay, once you get together and the romantic taxi drive, the kind of romantic comedy taxi drive is out of the way, what happens then? What's it really like to be two cops in a police station? And Jerry's death, I think we're one of the first shows to kind of have a major storyline about a character who's not there. So Jerry Jerry, in many ways, is integral to the growth of the characters. His death caused them to grieve in season 2, and in season 3, again, everybody remembers him, and then you have this new character coming into the fray who knew him very well. And in season 4, we lean even more into Jerry and his legacy, and all of that is a risk. I'm not sure that I've ever seen on TV before a character die and still be not only remembered but kind of integral to the plot as each season progresses. I do feel that that is novel and a little bit radical, but there's a really good reason for it, which is, you know, my dad died when I was 32, and the idea that someone dies and their colleagues and friends forget them is preposterous. You know, these people in some ways still walk amongst us as kind of, you know, psychological ghosts, and I wanted that to come across. And also it's a metaphor for all of the loss we've all endured in Northern Ireland. You couldn't write a realistic show about Northern Ireland without incorporating the idea of loss and grief and violent death. It's like so integral to who we are. You know, so many people died here, and then so many others were maimed or horrifically injured, and we're still living with all of that.
Just felt like from the get-go, once you slipped on the uniform and walked into this set here, we were back at it.
When you've got the uniform on and I mean, I'm sure people in Belfast know about Blue Lights, but have you had any interactions with fans or just people on the street that think you're a real police officer?
Yeah, it's happened a couple of times. If we're in the city centre shooting something, and the camera isn't necessarily very close to you or very much in your face, people have come up and gone, "Oh, what are they filming here? What's going on?" And it's easier to just play along, actually, than explain.
So you just say, yes, I am a police officer.
Yeah. Or someone was walking into a set one day, into shot, and they were about to ruin the whole take. So I just had to intervene and say, you have to go this way, And I realised they thought I was God.
Tina has stepped up. She comes back in because of family. And if one's family is threatened, and I don't even think this is a thing that is just a Tina thing. I think if anybody's family is threatened, you tend to go a bit. You either make a decision to exact revenge or not. Family comes first. Family and money for Tina.
The money's nice.
Yeah, money's nice. We like money.
She is the head or at the top of an illegal trade, and that she has a double life, and that she's worked in this field for a long time, is very intelligent, sociopathic. When you see a person who's got a lot of power, you think of a physicality to that, you know, a presence that can inform how you physically stand, walk, or whatever. But actually, power in a woman as well can be very feminized.